What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Super Princess Peach. I'm gonna try to make this quick as possible because this is gonna be a continuation of the last video. If you have not watched it, definitely go watch it because this is pretty much a continuation of the topic that I had in hand. Which let's just go on to pretty much the reasonings here and to try to summarize them quickly as possible. I'm gonna pretty much try to wrap this topic up in the next like couple minutes or so. And basically, the topic was authenticity is dying, and you know, the four main reasons are big groups cause this, people that can't be upfront and honest, there are parasocial relationships that ruin it, and then trends cause this. So, by the way, I wanted to make a clarification in a way, kind of. With parasocial relationships and trends, there are things that kind of just tie those two reasons together specifically. So I'm gonna pretty much just hone it on the trends part because it kind of relates to the parasocial relationships reasoning. So, anyways, let's just get onto it. So, how do trends cause this? Well, when you have trends that happen, what is the first thing you can think of that's currently a trend at the moment? Well, let's actually look up what a trend is in the first place. So what is a I'm sorry, I literally had notes literally pulled up. What is a trend? Sorry. So a trend is a general direction, movement, or underlying tendency in data, culture, or behavior. So basically, it kind of like what underlies is like a inside joke, a little bit of like it said culture, or like kind of a tradition, or just kind of like something that like people will post on the internet, kind of like how people back like 10 years ago used to do the nay, I'm not even kidding, the whip, the nay, the dab. I don't know. I don't think that's a thing anymore because that's definitely like that's definitely like 10 years old by now. And let me see what else is there that's kind of old. There used to be a thing where people used to yell Marco Polo, or it basically like it's just memes in a sense, but generally, like, people use trends to get attention from others, and sometimes trends are good in order to gain people's attention because if you're known for said trend, then it's like, okay, like, cool, you're known for said trend, and it's probably a good thing because like either this trend lasts for a little bit, so like you're pretty much relevant for the entirety of the part, and then that's when you can pretty much just gather as many viewers as you can to like pretty much watch you for pretty much as long as you want them to in a way, and then you can just continue on with that. But the reason why trends ruin authenticity is because when people do trends, it seems like they're just doing it for the attention. So there's nothing wrong with gaining the attention when you're doing trends because it's completely normal and it's completely fine. It's actually fine. I advocate for it. But at the same time, when it's forced or it feels forced, that's where you have to ask the question where it's like, okay, like, is this person just doing this so he can like be somebody that's like, oh yeah, I'm special as well? And if that's your main motive, then maybe you shouldn't like do this trend, or maybe you shouldn't like try to follow along with it, because there are some trends where it's just very bad and it kind of affects you in the long run, right? There are certain things that consider like as an inside joke that people do, such as like I Show Speed, for instance. I Show Speed is honestly, like, I'm not gonna lie, like he's known to be a very very funny YouTuber. That's what I meant to say. Like a very funny streamer, very funny guy. But but there are also times where he's like considered to be like the one where it's like, oh, everybody point and laugh because this kid is like, you know, doing some crazy shenanigans here. And like, yeah, that's fine. Like, you know, if you're a guy and you're like at the age of like 16 or 17 or something like that, you're gonna do stupid stuff like this. But at the same time, when you want to be taken seriously, that's where it underlies where people like kind of like push you to a point where it's like, oh, do this again, and like the dude's trying to be serious, and then you don't like that. By the way, if there's any glitching parts of the video, I apologize in advance. I don't know what's happening here. I'm guessing like there's some issues with my 3DS, so hopefully I can like test some stuff out in the future and just make sure that doesn't happen again, because this is actually kind of annoying to watch and kind of like see. But anyways, side note, done. But the thing is, like, we have like trends that just kind of like affect the way people like interact with each other. And so like when you try to like interact with other people in real life and you try to do these trends, make these jokes and whatnot, it seems to like push people away. And then on top of that, when you push people away by doing said trends, it's like kind of like you're being like a public nuisance, right? And like when you're acting like a public nuisance and you're acting like very like, I don't know, in your own ways of like just like, yeah, I'm gonna do this to just piss you off, and then it actually pisses a bunch of people off where it's up to a point where I'm calling the police on you because you're being an absolute public nuisance and you're hurting other people. I don't like what you're doing, so we need to lock you up basically, and figure out why your behavior is the way it is. So needless to say, like that is pretty much the end of the topic with trends and my problem with it in a way. If you do want me to extend on any of these reasons, as I said again, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll probably extend to all 4 of these reasons alone, just one reason at a time, and then I'll probably focus on that, and then boom, you know. But yeah, hope you guys did enjoy, because for the next bit of the video, you're not going to like me, and I don't care, to be honest with you, and that's just the underlying issue there. And this has nothing to do with the topic from the last video, because we have some really crazy news and some really sad news, and just kind of like in the general scope of things, like it's just gonna really put people down. But at the same time, I gotta be the one to break the news, because I mean, who else but me? So recently, this past week, I've seen a lot of gaming news that kind of affected everybody in a way, and it's kind of affected you know, pretty much the US, China. Well, yeah, I guess China is like kind of like the one of the instruments of this factor. But here's the thing though, like there are basically like there's like news going on around that NVIDIA is pretty much that bursting that AI bubble. That AI bubble is pretty much bursting, and the thing is that well, let me just give you like pretty much an opener sort of news. And I got this all from Fratanga Plays, so if you want to like a more in-depth dive in these things, definitely go check the video in the link description below. Yeah, I'm mentioning this guy again because he honestly really does a really good job on like finding the news and material, and then like obviously I'm not trying to like just grab his opinions or anything, because I have my own really in this situation at hand. I mean, speaking as a guy who's like literally in neutral with pretty much with Nintendo and neutral with other video game consoles and whatnot, and PC gaming, which honestly I'm finding myself to be more leaning towards being a PC gamer, but at the same time I have a new category of where I'm leaning towards, and that is gaming any fun anymore, which I'll get onto that later on. So the thing is like we have these trends that are happening with these price hikes, and they're happening quite crazily in a sense, and it's kind of like really pissing people off. And so as an opener, let's just say this: China unveils gaming GPU to challenge NVIDIA. So basically, China is releasing a GPU hardware that will pretty much that you can use in PCs and computers and whatnot. And the fact is that it's like about like $500 to buy this certain product. But I'm gonna be honest, I ain't buying that because from what I heard from Fertanga, in his opinion, it should have been like $300 in the quality. They'll know more about that and the GPU and everything like that. So like I said, if you want more information on that, just go to this video below. But this is the opening news. So China decides they do not want to buy the chips from Nvidia now, but instead they're banning them. China just added Nvidia's RTX 509 V2 to its customs ban list during Jensen Huang's visit with Trump in town in China. The chip was designed specifically to meet U.S. export rules. Now it's banned in China. So China does not want anything to do with Nvidia's product, and therefore us as the U.S., who pretty much represents Nvidia, I guess, for some reason. I really wouldn't touch Nvidia after that, because what the flip was that? But at the same time, it's like, look who caused this. Nvidia did. They decided they wanted to grab. So let's say like there's this huge bulk of food, right? And like, you know, you have a percentage for the population that needs to eat the food or whatnot, and then you have the percentage that, you know, like obviously the people that control it. So if you're the one who's controlling it, I would highly suggest that maybe don't take 90% of the food, so that we have to ration out the 10% that, oh, looks like certain parts of the population are not going to get it. Because even as an average human being working, you're not going to be able to afford gaming as much. It's now a luxury item. Gaming has now become something where unless you are having a job as an electrician, construction company, or a doctor, or getting paid like $50 an hour or something, you are not going to be able to game ever again. It's just gonna be a fact from now on, unless there's some sort of way where you can buy GPUs or really if you could buy computer parts for yourself to get yourself a gaming PC at this moment, before the price hikes for that, which honestly I would buy used stuff at this point, because even in that point, like that's gonna start that market's gonna start drying up as well. And the key factor is a lot of things are rising in price. And for those of you that stuck around to hearing this part of the news, Nvidia has officially decided to retire the GeForce control panel after 20 years, ending one of the longest running software tools in PC gaming. The company is moving users to the newer Nvidia app, which combines drivers updates, game optimizations, DLSs, and RTX settings, performance tools, overlaying, and display settings into one application. The old control panel will still work for now, but is now considered a legacy app and will no longer receive major updates for GeForce users. For many gamers, it has been a familiar part of Windows experience since the early 2000s. And so basically, if you want to live in those good old days of being able to be a CPU gamer, or being able to be a computer game, like pretty much a PC gamer, or be able to play games, you're gonna have to be freaking filthy rich basically at this point, because the support on doing these sort of things to have a actual community. We used to be a community, but now we're not, I guess. But that's goes to say from what I'm learning from this news here. This is just developing my own opinion on this topic and matter at hand, because it is actually kind of ticking me off to see that, you know, we have people at the top that are just deciding like, oh, we're gonna just do this and, you know, and be done with it, and try to meet the trends of making everything cost almost $1,000 in order to freaking do anything anymore. And it's actually quite sad. Like, like I said, if you're a common American citizen or anything like that, like consider finding another hobby. I wouldn't even try gaming at this point, unless you have your old DS. I would try to figure out a way to like make sure to preserve energy or preserve anything, any sort of like electronic energy to make sure that things go as smooth as possible in that long run. So, anyways, the reason why I'm mentioning all these price hikes is because it really all just starts and unveils from the video. So, according to, by the way, all of these tweets, well, I probably should have sourced where they came from as well, but this is like guys. Go watch Furtango Plays video, and he'll explain it better, and he'll actually show the tweets. Unlike me, who's probably not going to show the tweets that I'm reading right now, but it's basically what I'm reading here from the video provided, and also just kind of putting my own twists and opinions to it. Not like twist in a bad way, just kind of like putting my own 2 cents into the conversation, because as best as I can, because I think this is going to be something where we're going to really, like, if we fight back with our wallets, it's going to be kind of like a battle where we are pretty much in a way going to be kind of hurting upon others, but not in a sense that you think. It will be in a way where it'll get big companies to realize, like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do this, and like, to be quite honest, it's gonna be a longer run kind of a thing, and we'll get to the even worse news that I really wish I'm not sharing today, because I'm feeling sick to my stomach even having to like say it out loud. But anyways. Needless to say, it's actually the overload of the information I have right now, and I'm sorry to overload you with it, because it's making me feel like Cream from the Nightmare universe from Jace Coys, really, and from Finished Nightmares game. I'm not kidding. I'm feeling like that character right now with the overloading information that I have here. It's actually like quite sad, really, and as the opening news that I brought here, with China's unveiling new GPU to challenge NVIDIA, the name of it is called the Linus LX7G100, which officially launched. Which, if you were even planning on buying this in the first place, which as I said, I wouldn't plan on buying this, because I'm not buying it at all ever. But in case you wanted to know, like, what's the status of it, it sold out on the first day with around 30,000 pre-orders, and it on the day of launch. So here's what the graphics cards come with. So it comes with 12 GB GDDR6 memory, 6nm manufacturing process, DirectX 12 support, Microsoft WHQL certified drivers for modern Windows games. In gaming tests, the LX7G100 performs below NVIDIA's RTX 4060, usually by 20% to 70% depending on the game. Priced at about $480, many considering it expensive for its performance, although it does not yet compete with NVIDIA or AMD at the high end. The LX7G100 marks an important step for China's domestic graphics card industry. And so basically, they're just selling it themselves to their own, like, yeah. Basically, when the way they're selling it, it's like pretty much beating NVIDIA's like pretty much slot price, because here's the thing, why I'm gonna just pretty much make a big announcement on how the AI bubble is gonna burst. And this is not for my own opinion, it's just from what I'm seeing. I mean, to be fairly honest, like, I'm kind of hoping that it would burst, because if this is actually true, I want to actually like just kind of make a victory lap, and not just because of the fact that I hate AI. I honestly, like, when I first heard about it, I was very skeptical about it. Obviously, yes, I know. And a lot of people would say, like, oh, like, go for the sheer factor of, like, oh, no, it's popular to hate AI. That's okay. Like, yes, I get it. But the underlying issue should be who's using the AI tools. Because if we look at here, 90% of who uses AI, by the way, 90% of NVIDIA's customers now buy this and not GPUs. Nearly 90% of customers purchasing NVIDIA's AI systems also buy networking products. The company has expanded its networking portfolio, tapping into the demand for ultra-fast network gear necessary for large-scale AI data centers. Networking gives NVIDIA another growth engine, even if its market share as GPUs erodes due to competition. And as I said before, it's not looking good for NVIDIA. This may sound enticing, but here's where more. Let's just deep cut this, okay? While there is no universally agreed upon census to distinguish pure AI data centers from traditional cloud facilities, the industry added roughly about 130 to 440 new hyperscale data centers globally each year. Major operators have retrofitted the built out an estimate of 18 to 20 dedicated AI-specific campuses in the U.S. alone. The last 2 years marked as an unpredictable investment boom for AI infrastructures. Key highlights include the massive infrastructure spend in 2025 alone, and the rapid retrofitting. Older sites are also being retrofitted in breakneck speeds, such as Elon's 100,000 GPU Colossus supercomputer, which was built in just 122 days in a Shutter factory. Crazy, right? At the same time, there is the case of Uber. The company allocated a certain amount of money towards AI expenses. It then rolled out access to Cloud Code for its 5,000 engineers in January. A few weeks ago, its CTO Praveen Naga, I think that's what it's called, Naga? Sega or I don't know. I said Sega, not Sega. Not me mispronouncing it. It literally says NAGA. So, and it said Uber had exhausted its entire annual AI budget in just 5 months. This was reconfirmed by Uber Andrew McDonald on Monday, highlighting that AI use has not resulted in any productivity gains so far. He also said in the Rapid Response podcast, we're going to have to start talking about token consumption and the associated cost versus headcount. If you're not actually able to draw a direct line to how much useful functionality you're shipping to your users, that trade becomes harder to justify. Gee, I wonder the flip why. Sorry for the yelling. I don't know why I'm yelling, but I'm gonna stop yelling, okay? Here's the reason why. Breaking news. Microsoft just announced to ban its own engineers from using AI due to the cost of using it. The vice president of NVIDIA said the cost of AI for the team was no sound effect. But here's a drum roll, okay? The cost of AI costs a lot more than, well, ladies and gentlemen, it's us. It costs more than humans. AI can cost more than human workers now. Ain't that how did we get to this point with this problem? How is the AI bubble not bursted at this point? I want somebody to who has common sense, who's not a retard, give me some sort of logical explanation why AI costs more than human workers themselves. I thought we were supposed to move in a direction where they don't cost more than workers, but it seems like we failed that freaking mission now. Thanks a lot, NVIDIA. So now underlies the issue now with where are we going with the job market? What is the purpose of living in the human society other than the sheer fact that I honestly don't give a flying flip of what happens to me now. Honestly, I really don't, because the sheer it's just, I'm sorry, I'm still processing this days later, and you're not gonna like what I'm saying here, but pretty much investing into society has just pretty much screwed us so much in the butt that it's just pointless to even do so. And even by our own allies, like in the sense that I would consider an ally to us, but now because the price hikes have been so drastic, even Steam just yesterday or the day before, I don't remember which day it is, but in just one freaking day, which honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like, Nintendo did this a lot better with their price hikes, so it's like, okay, this is where Steam kind of just, like, screwed us in the, like, rear. But, the Steam Deck was sold out for a few years now, I believe, or a few months, I don't remember which one it was. But I was actually planning on investing into buying one as soon as I actually get a decent, well-paying job that's not, like, a part-time job. That was the plan, and I'm still, like, working on that, obviously, by the way, but, like, it's happening. I'm moving strong with that, actually, because, actually, I think I have an interview at some point, we'll see. No more details on that, but basically, and I'm not gonna lie, like, yeah, we can all get mad at Valve for this, we can all get mad at Valve, Steam, for this, but at the same time, their hand was forced to do this. It's not like they wanted to do this, but they had to do this. If you want to buy an OLED Steam Deck with 512 GB, it ain't gonna be $550 anymore, honey. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. It is going to be $800 almost. Oh, this gets better. This gets better. If you want to buy a Steam Deck with 1 terabyte, which is about 1,000 gigabytes if you did get that, or GB, it ain't gonna be $650 anymore. Nope. You're looking at $1,000 for that, which predicts my freaking price hike on, or really not the price hike, the current price for the Steam machine. Asmongold has predicted it, I predicted it, and a lot of other people have predicted it. You want to know who the only 2 people that have actually kind of came to a conclusion on that? On where the price is going to be? Now, I won't lie, I was initially wrong, but looking at further and doing some digging and research in the gaming industry, it makes sense on to why Asmongold is right. He's right. He's probably going to be most likely right, although maybe not completely right if the price is too high. So, there's this, I don't know, I think he predicted it was going to be like around $1,000, maybe $1,200, $1,100, maybe around, he said it's going to be around $1,100, $1,200. So, I predict it was going to be around $1,000. Not initially. Initially, I thought it was going to be like around like $800, but that's clearly not going to be the case anymore. Heck no. Because, yeah, you decided to have a $200, $300 raise from the initial price hikes. And you don't want to know the worst part? The Steam Deck is still out of stock. So the people that were waiting to buy this, that like, oh, finally I have $500 saved up to the side, so I'm gonna just buy it. Or I had at least, yeah, $600, $700 saved up to the side. Yeah, now I'm gonna have to save $300 more. Because flipping, that's why. Flip me. And honestly, honest to God, it's not all Valve's fault. We could get mad at Valve at this because if we're looking at the same thing here, Samsung is planning to raise prices on its high-end Galaxy phones by actually, this is completely unrelated note, but I just thought it'd be worth mentioning. But Samsung is planning to raise their prices to 200 euros starting in June. And, well, with the Nintendo Switch 2 being from the price hike of $450 to about $500, $550, I think. I can't remember what exactly I said, but I'm not going to answer anything. I'm just going based off of what I'm saying right now, because we're trying to keep the conversation here, and I'm sorry that there's a massive overload, as I said, and I'm honestly, my head hurts just thinking about all of this, though, what's happening, what's going to happen in the future. I mean, I kind of already laid out my future at this point with what's going to happen now. Not that I mean, I don't know. I guess for me personally, like, I don't get disappointed often because I never put any high hopes on anything, like, earthly or anything like that. I mean, I've learned to do that like 4 or 5 years ago. I've learned to, like, stop relying on, you know, stuff from the world, basically. Like, and not like in the sense of like in Christian standpoint, just more like societies in general. Like, look, you know, look into video games, looking at the things that we've created ourselves, and I just have to say, like, where is humanity going at this point if we can't even have, I don't know, like, we're having, like, most of the population act like complete animals, and it makes me sick to even say that, because I wish I'm not saying it's true, but it's kind of true. We're seeing a lot of degeneracy everywhere. We're seeing a lot of people being excused for things. We're tolerating a lot of the crap a lot that we shouldn't be tolerating. If, in fact, there was a lot of stuff that probably wouldn't be tolerated 20 years ago that's being tolerated today. And it's sad. It's quite sad. And we're tolerating this because why? Like, really just sit down and think about that one for a second. Like, why are we tolerating this? This may sound like a very stupid conversation to have, but I really want you guys to really think about this as we, I don't know, progress into the future with anything at this point, because I don't know what the flip the point is. And, you know, if you're looking into a handheld console that's even worth buying, go look at Microsoft Xbox new handheld, which is about the same price range, but the quality's a lot better than the Steam machine. I'm gonna be honest. No, well, not a lot better, but like the money for your buck, it's what it's worth. It's you know, it's actually worth it. The price is actually worth a lot more than the current price right now with the current things that are being sold right now. It's actually like really, it's really sad. I'm sorry. And the reason why I mentioned Cream the Rabbit from Nightmare Universe that was created by Jay's Toys is because I don't know if I've ever talked about the Nightmare Universe at all. I think the last time I ever talked about it was either in my last LP, maybe in this LP, maybe, or I talked about it in one of my Mario Galaxy videos or something like that. And it was like about Sonic EXE, basically. It's basically a Sonic EXE universe. So there's that. But the reason why I'm mentioning Cream the Rabbit is because the reason why is because in the final like game that was made in the Nightmare Universe before Jay's Toys completely went, you know, just completely went off the grid with the Nightmare Universe in general. Basically, there's this archdemon called Execia, right? I guess it's kind of stupid to talk about really at this point, but you know, it's kind of like the state that I'm in is basically where Cream is at, basically, where she's been put through all these tests in one of the endings, basically the canon ending, and before the point where she actually went completely berserk, completely crazy. You know, the feeling that she had was like her head hurts, she was being overloaded with information, her her sanity levels like going completely crazy off the grid in a way to some degree, and she starts to lose hope in life, losing hope in really anything, basically completely breaking her like to a point where it's like I can't look anywhere else for any sort of hope or joy, which is sad. I wish there was some sort of way. By the way, we're going to this stage again because there was one thing I forgot to look at, and I'll show it right now. I accidentally did that, by the way. But there's this little pipe right here where it has a little secret here. So we're going to go in here and just replay the entire stage. It's going to be like another 2 minutes. But anyways, yeah, new content basically. Hi. So yeah, I guess I could talk more about that on like how drastically like bad that whole test was for him to go through from the Nightmare universe and finish Nightmares. And I feel that way right now. My head feels overloaded with so much info that I feel like I don't know. I don't want to do anything crazy where I make a massacre of anything, like nothing like that. But it just makes me feel very, very depressed, very sad all the time. Feeling like, I don't know, like, and I'm not trying to validate any sort of crazy behavior at all. Like, not at all. What I'm trying to say is that you feel like things, not that belong to you in the first place, if anything, but like things that would have been kind of owned by you because you worked hard for it. It's just slowly being stripped away from you from the very people that were going to sell it to you. But they're saying, no, we're going to own it. You're just going to borrow it, and you're going to pay to borrow it, basically. This is where we're going. Gaming has... I don't know. Like, we've kind of entered a game war, basically. And I'm sorry for talking very slowly at this point because it's like, ow, my head. So I'm not gonna lie, like I had some days where I look at the news and I feel like you ever feel like that, you know, like, you ever, like, get to a point where you put effort into things and, like, you know, you could feel proud of it, feel accomplished for it, but, like, as soon as it gets taken away to some degree or something really bad happens, and, like, yeah, you're gonna hit some disappointments, and it's like, okay, yeah, I'm disappointed, this happened, we move on, you know? I mean, yeah, you have your grieving moment, and then you move on, but then as time goes on, those grieving moments happen less and less, or just get quicker and quicker, because who the flip cares? Like, actually, who freaking cares at this point? And in a way, it's funny because I haven't really touched on this topic for a while, with due reason, because quite frankly, I don't want to put any negative light on the conversation or really put any sort of light on the conversation. But with the whole news of the Digital Circus, the finale being released in theaters, the fan base, fandom, and everything else, I just want to say, like, I get where it's kind of funny. You know, I'm not even a big creator. Like, I don't even have a fan base, okay? Which I'm fine with. It's cool that I literally just have a few people that are just watching this content. And the thing is like, you have the fame, you have everything that you could possibly imagine that, like, oh, everything's actually going well for you. And then guess what? People are only there for your creation and not for you. Now I get it. Maybe not completely, but the feeling, but it's, I can honestly appreciate the person that created the creation that in the actual, well, it's kind of funny. So there's a, I don't know, do I want to do a whole video on it? Maybe I can do a whole video on it. But the way Goose works kind of like portrayed the ending and everything, just like kind of how she feels about the situation, how she pretty much feels about like her work, the finale being like leaked completely, like just out there, and also just kind of like, all right, it's out there, can't really do much about it, which is a pretty, honestly, a very mature response to have. But the sad part is, the fandom is pissed off with her reaction to the situation. So what do you want her to do? What do you want me to do? When there's nothing else, if all hope is lost, I can't do anything to change any sort of the fate or matter of any sort of fate or any sort of future that happens. To those of you that have the anger still, or still have some sort of like, you know, feeling or grief that, oh, I gotta keep fighting back, I'm gonna lash out, what is the point? Why bother? That's how I feel. That's how I feel with the current situations at hand. It's actually kind of sad. And I don't know. All in all, still find hope in the very things that you cherish. The way I handle it is like, I look into things that bring me joy and just kind of focus on that. So I guess to end this video off on a lighter note, try to look at the situation in a good light. Maybe see a long run to it. Maybe there's going to be something good that happens in the long run with these large price hikes. Who knows? Maybe we'll make just a huge amount of money, or the price hike would just pretty much plummet back down. Who knows? But needless to say, we're actually towards the end of the LP too, which is also kind of sad. But we're gonna have another LP lined up, so it's gonna be a fun one. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call it here. If you did enjoy the video or enjoy the information, or I wouldn't find anybody to enjoy the information or anything of the sorts. But if you like the gameplay, give it a like, give it a subscribe. And needless to say, spread this video around if this is something that you cherish to like spread around. And I'll put the 2 links of the videos that I've watched recently that pretty much put me at this point in the video. And I guess all I can say now is, don't forget to shine bright and stay bright.